Welcome back. Today we are making these absolutely delicious gluten-free chocolate cupcakes. So first we're going to start off by making the batter. To do this we're using 3/4 of a cup of hot water. To this we are adding 1/3 of a cup melted milk or dark chocolate chips, either will work. I chose to use dark chocolate today. And we're also adding in 1 teaspoon of instant espresso. For our 1/3 of a cup of baking cocoa, I'm actually going to sift it into the mixture. I almost always have chunks in my cocoa, which drives me nuts, so just to make life easier and help this mix together better, I like to sift it before adding it to my batter. So I gave this a quick little whisk just to get everything mixed together, and once that cocoa was fully incorporated into the liquid, it was time to add our gluten-free flour. So we are adding 3/4 of a cup of gluten-free flour along with 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar. Then it's 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. So I'm sifting this into my wet ingredients just to make it easier to mix together, but at the end of the day we're actually working to overmix our batter. So you don't have to sift this in if you don't want to, that part is optional. Once all of those dry ingredients were mixed together, it was time to add in our last few remaining ingredients. This includes 1/3 of a cup of vegetable oil. You could also use canola oil, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 large eggs that are both at room temperature. I like to mix them together before just to make them easier to add to the batter, but that's also optional. And then the final ingredient is 1 teaspoon of white vinegar. So vinegar might seem like an odd ingredient to include in these, but you need something acidic to activate the baking soda, so it's actually really important that you do add that in. 2 other really important tips for gluten-free baking are to try to overmix your batter. It helps with the structure of the gluten-free baked goods, and to let your batter sit for at least 30 minutes to give that gluten-free flour a chance to absorb the moisture in the batter. So those are very unconventional general baking tips, but for gluten-free baking they're key. So I filled my cupcake liners about 2/3 of the way full and baked those for about 18 minutes at 350 degrees. While our cupcakes baked, I made some super chocolatey chocolate buttercream. So this includes both baking cocoa and melted chocolate, which is what gives it such a pretty color and such an incredible taste. I mixed it on a low speed with my paddle attachment to get it super smooth so that when we piped it onto our cupcakes, it would pipe like a dream. So here I'm using one of my favorite frosting tips. It's an Ateco 869. I ordered it on Amazon and I just love that swirl. I think it's so pretty and so elegant, and it's so easy to do. I also think it's a great ratio of frosting to cupcake so that each bite really is perfectly balanced. Now I really love chocolate frosting with chocolate cupcakes, but if you prefer vanilla, you can totally use whatever flavor of frosting you like best. I think just about anything would taste good on these cupcakes. So they are insanely moist, as you can see, and the texture is really great. I don't think you would even know it was a gluten-free cupcake unless someone told you, and that's exactly what you're going for. If you want to make these gluten-free chocolate cupcakes at home, the recipe is up on Chelsweets.com. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully, I'll see you guys again soon.